MotorWeek is made possible by Rock Auto and Tire Rack. Your host for MotorWeek, John Davis.
Well, hello and welcome again to MotorWeek. We're glad to have you with us. Well, as you can see from where I'm standing, the automotive landscape is literally awash in sport utility vehicles. Indeed, the growth of sport utes over the last 15 years, from rugged off-road couriers to everyday family transportation, has been astounding. So much so that everyone wants to get into the act. Why, this year we even saw Mercedes-Benz enter the fray. And longtime full-size SUV purveyor Dodge has re-entered the market with the mid-size Durango. Now, both of these new designs are very impressive four-wheel drive, four-door wagons, and they just beg to be compared to the more established sport ute leaders. Why, that sounds like fun. We rounded up a familiar gang of mid-size, mid-price, 4x4 family sport utility vehicles, but most with a twist or two to keep the newcomers on their toes. Leading the charge is the sport ute sales leader, the Ford Explorer. Next, the Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, now with a 5.9-liter V8. Oldsmobile's Bravada represents a made-over GM trio that includes the Chevrolet Blazer and GMC Jimmy. The first of our newcomers is the brawny Dodge Durango, followed by this year's most talked-about SUV, the Alabama-made Mercedes-Benz ML320. Finally, the SUV that the Mercedes is most often compared to, the Land Rover Discovery. So when you put these six family Packers side by side, how do they measure up? Well, our Ford Explorer XLT is like Old Faithful. You know exactly what to expect. Its boxy upright styling is traditional SUV. The interior is a little plain but very practical, with the most used controls neatly located in a center panel. There's lots of comfortable people space front and back. A maximum of 81.6 cubic feet of cargo space and a towing capacity of 6,700 pounds makes it among the most versatile. Explorer uses rugged truck body-on-frame construction. Ride is smooth if a little tipsy. A limited model adds air springs. Our XLT didn't have them, but it did have the least ground clearance of the group, 6.7 inches. Still, this fast-revving 4-liter overhead cam V6 delivers 205 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque for capable off-roading. The available full-time, on-demand, high-low range control track four-wheel drive system always put power to the wheels that needed it most. Order the 5-liter V8 and you're limited to an all-wheel drive system without low range. V6 acceleration and the 5-speed automatic shifts were both effortless, 0 to 60 in only 7.9 seconds. Economy is poor, however, at 12.2 miles per gallon. Ford Explorers cover a wide range of prices, with our XLT pegged at $31,860. From its distinctive 7-bar grille to its quick and responsive steering, the Jeep Grand Cherokee wears its pioneering heritage ever better with age. For 98, more power enters the bloodline with the addition of a pushrod 5.9-liter V8. Ratings are 245 horsepower and 345 pound-feet of torque, the most pulling power in its class. Oddly, Grand Cherokee's towing limit of 6,700 pounds is with the smaller 5.2-liter V8. But the purpose of the 5.9 is not for towing, but for going. 0 to 60 is a class best 7.4 seconds. Mileage is better than most too at 14.9 per. You hot rod in style too. The Limited's overstuffed leather seats and woody accents set the tone. Backseat room is more cramped than we'd like, as is luggage space due to the inside-mounted spare tire. Still, there is room for 79.3 cubic feet of stuff. Jeep's unitized frame provides a very stiff platform. Off-road performance is excellent thanks to a high 8.3 inches of ground clearance and all-the-time quadra-track four-wheel drive system. Highway ride is car smooth, but the signature Jeep body sway can get a little tiring. Grand Cherokee prices also cover a wide range. 4x4 start at about $28,000, while our limited 5.9 had a sticker of $38,900. GM took the edges off all its mid-size sport utes this year and made them appear more attractive and contemporary while retaining a purposeful shape. Although one look at the interior of the Oldsmobile Bravada and you know its purpose is more one of luxury than lugging. The Bravada is among the smallest in its class, but overall interior room is surprisingly good. We love the fluid way the rear seats fold flat. Cargo space is 74.1 cubic feet with towing capacity limited to 5,000 pounds. Bravada and its kin have only one engine, a gutsy 4.3-liter V6, here with 190 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque. Acceleration is adequate. 0 to 60 takes 9.2 seconds. While noisy under hard throttle, Bravada speaks well on mileage, 16.8 for our test. While Blazer and Jimmy have traditional part-time four-wheel drive, Bravada has a fully automatic Smart Track all-wheel drive system. It lacks low range, but with 7.5 inches of ground clearance, still is very capable. Highway ride is smooth, although it does get pitchy at times. The least expensive four-door Blazer 4x4 goes for about $25,700. At $31,375, our loaded-to-the-hilt Bravada comes off looking like the class bargain. In our recent road test of the Dodge Durango, we praised this new domestic entry for its big rig styling and for being Detroit's first midsize SUV that can carry a family of 8. Durango is based on the Dakota pickup, but from the windshield back, clever engineers added a raised roof and lowered floor to maximize interior space. The third seat folds into a floor when you need all the 88 cubic feet of cargo room. Towing capacity is group's best at 7,200 pounds. Dakota engines are also used, with up to 5.9 liters available. Our SLT-grade Durango packed the familiar 5.2-liter V8 with 230 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque. Good for a 0 to 60 dash of 8.7 seconds. 4x4 gearing includes a choice of part-time or full-time transfer case, which when combined with nubby tires and a good 7.9 inches of ground clearance, gives the body-on-frame Durango a fine off-road performance. On-road ride was better than expected, but with more annoying creaks and squeaks than we'd like. Durango is also thirsty, 12.2 miles per gallon, the same as Explorer. But like Explorers, prices seem pretty reasonable, with our well-equipped example having a final sticker of $31,100. Not everyone loves the shape of the Mercedes-Benz ML320, but this flowing two-box form is clearly where modern 4x4 wagons are evolving. Inside, the ML has most of the traits and safety you expect in a Mercedes-Benz, including a superbly organized dash and side impact airbags. Only plastic quality needs improving. But no improvements are needed for interior room. Dimensions are generous. The tri-fold middle seat adds unmatched versatility to the group's biggest 85.4 cubic feet of cargo space. A two-child third-row seat is offered, but towing capacity is limited to 5,000 pounds. You can't get a V8 in the ML till fall, but the current 18-valve overhead cam 3.2-liter V6 is no slouch. 215 horsepower and 233 pound-feet of torque delivers a 0 to 60 time of 9.3 seconds. Economy is our group's best at 18.8 miles per gallon. We have great confidence in the on-demand full-time 4x4 system that uses electronic traction control to make sure the body-on-frame ML won't get stuck as long as at least one wheel has traction. Ground clearance is a good 8.4 inches. All this plus the three-pointed star for about $34,000 to start, or $40,115 loaded to the gills. This full-framed Land Rover Discovery LSE looks like it just emerged from the jungle, with its raised skylights and two powered sunroofs. The all-aluminum body panels look dated, and the same goes for the inside. Interior trim is British leather and wood posh, but despite its tall stature, you feel surprisingly cramped. The maximum of 69.8 cubic feet of cargo space is the smallest of our group. Rear jump seats push capacity to 7 and easily fold out of the way. Trailer towing capacity is 5,500 pounds. And aluminum 4-liter pushrod V8 is included. Its 182 horsepower and 233 pound-feet of torque were only enough for a 0 to 60 time of 10.9 seconds, the pokiest in our group. Mileage is no great shakes either at 13 even. On-road, the Land Rover rolls a lot in corners, but off-road, with an all-the-time four-wheel drive system and 8.1 inches of ground clearance, the Discovery is nearly unstoppable. Land Rover prices start high but stay competitive. Our loaded LSE goes into the bush for $39,750. Or about the same tab as our newcomer winner, the Mercedes-Benz ML320. This first-time family SUV hits the target market perfectly and does so with a very competitive price, all backed by the Mercedes-Benz reputation. No wonder the ML320 is a sellout. Runners-up, the two SUVs that are already family favorites, the Ford Explorer and the Jeep Grand Cherokee. They may be oldies, but they still do a great job of bringing home the goodies. As for the other newcomer, the Dodge Durango, it just needs a little quality seasoning before it too will get our nod. And we didn't cover but some of the choices. If there's a mid-size family SUV in your future, it'll be hard to make a decision you'll regret.